In 1971, when I was 10 years old, our family moved from St. Paul, Minnesota to Tokyo, Japan. That's my passport photo. My dad worked for 3M, a rapidly expanding global corporation. 3M paid for the move, flew us first class to Tokyo, provided our housing, membership at the Tokyo American Club, and paid for the tuition for the 4 Johnson kids to go to a private international school. Most of the students were American, but there were a large number of Japanese kids whose parents wanted them to have an English language education, and everyone else, well, came from everywhere else. That fall, my 6th grade teacher, Mrs. Hawkins, announced to the class that we would be performing a play for the kindergartners and 1st graders. The play would be Green Eggs and Ham. We nodded. Good book. Danny Rosenblum would play Sam I Am because he had done commercial work. Pre-casting, also commercial work? Danny Rosenblum? The rest of the cast, Mrs. Hawkins continued, would not have to memorize any lines, but just walk across the stage in costume. You know, as the house and the mouse, the box and the fox. But there would need to be one person who asked Sam I Am all of the questions. You know, the would you, could yous. Who would like to play that part? Silence. And then I raised my hand. I would. I could do that. Mrs. Hawkins later told my mom that she was surprised that I had volunteered since I had been so quiet since the beginning of the school year. Well, we had just moved around the world to a foreign country. Daniel was a little slow getting off book, but I memorized my lines immediately. It wasn't that hard. It's green eggs and ham. Of course, tech was a nightmare, as usual. Opening night. Well, late morning. I was all nerves. I mean, what if I messed up my questions? It would throw Danny off completely. But I just sat on my stack of stools, dressed all in white, wearing a black hat, and looked down at Danny Rosenblum and intoned with rising intensity, would you, could you, in a boat? Would you, could you, with a goat? What can I say? The kindergartners loved it. They are such dears. 1st graders, though, they'll eat you alive. But they were enthralled. Let's face it, it was a complete triumph. From then on, I did all of the plays. In fact, later that year, I played Laurie in Little Women. Laurie is a boy's part. He's Kit's boyfriend. And then, of course, who can forget my court jester the next year in 7th grade? I certainly won't. But no matter what comes next, there's nothing like that first show. And for me, it will always be Green Eggs and Ham.